I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. The summer of superheroes continues, and on this episode, I'm paying tribute to everyone's favorite half-man, half-cybernetic superhero, Cyborg. Now, Cyborg was created in 1980 by Marv Wolfman and George Perez and made his debut in DC Comics Presents number 26 of that year. And he would later end up being inserted as a member of the Teen Titans, which was a membership that he held for a very long time. Then in 2011, when DC decided to redo the entire universe, he became a member of the Justice League. And really love this character. This character has also appeared in a small screen. The first time was when in the final season of Super Friends in 1985, and he was voiced by Ernie Hudson. Then in 2003, he appeared on a small screen again in the Teen Titans animated series and was voiced by Kari Payton. And he's also appeared on on the big screen as well. He was in both Justice League from 2017 and Zack Snyder's Justice League that came out earlier this year and was played by Ray Fisher. And he's also appeared in on the current HBO series Doom Patrol, is played by Joy Van Wade. And this is a Cyborg Comic Hero tee. You see the gears inside a speech bubble and then the Cyborg logo. Now, if you would want your very own Cyborg Comic Hero tee, they're on my website, IamTheComicHero.com, for $17. Alright, speaking of t-shirts, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on last week's episode, I asked, what is Static's real name? Well, the correct answer is Virgil Hawkins. And 13 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their name's been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Amanda Edelman from DeRidder, Louisiana. So congratulations, Amanda. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode. And this is a comic book question. And it has to do with one of the greatest creator and co-creators in comic book history, and he was both with DC and Marvel. True or false? Jack Kirby's real name was Jacob Kurtzburg. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown is usually reserved for fans to make requests, but every once in a while, I like to come up with some, and this one features two villains, one in the DC universe and one in the Marvel universe, and one's creepy and one has a name that's a breed of a dog. Representing DC, we have the Creeper, and representing Marvel, we have the Jackal. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's the Creeper versus the Jackal. The Creeper is a detective and journalist, expert hand-to-hand combatant, and adept martial artist who possesses superhuman strength and stamina, superhuman agility and reflexes, superhuman healing, weaponized laughter, and the ability to climb walls. The Jackal is a genius geneticist, biochemist, and cloner, talented martial artist and gymnast who possesses superhuman strength, speed, and agility. Who will win? A majority of this fight will be martial arts, which they both excel at very well. However, due to the Jackal's speed, the Creeper wouldn't be able to land any blows. Jackal would dominate in the fight early on. Just as the Jackal is about to finish off the Creeper, the latter blocks the finishing blow and counters with his weaponized laughter, causing the former to suddenly combust spontaneously. The Creeper wins. But wait! Did I mention that the Jackal is a genius geneticist and cloner? Well, folks, that was a clone the Creeper was fighting. Suddenly, a mysterious figure shows up, notices that the Creeper sustained minor injuries in the fight and says, "Excuse me, you look like you need to be checked out. I'm a doctor. I can help." The Creeper reluctantly lets the man treat him. Unfortunately, it's Dr. Miles Warren, the person the Jackal is when he's not the Jackal. Warren gives him a lethal dose of a sedative that kills him instantly. The Jackal wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, well, I hope you all enjoyed that fight, and I'll have known for next week. Now, if you want to make a request, go ahead and do so. Your request won't fall upon deaf ears unless it is something very tasteless like 50 Cent versus Iron Man. I actually had someone make that request, and I had to make the most of it, even though it didn't really make sense. But make sure that your fight request can make sense. It can be a comic book character, or it can going up against a comic book character, or it can be a comic book character going up against a video game character. Alright, now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are three things we're going to talk about on Comically Speaking, and the first is the news that Charlie Cox is going to return as Daredevil and Matt Murdock in the Hawkeye TV series coming to Disney+. Really excited about it. I really enjoyed him when he played both Murdock and Daredevil in the TV series on Netflix, and it's going to be great seeing him again. I mean, and this comes after the news that John Barenthal is reprising his role as the Punisher in a lot of Marvel Studios projects. So, you know, I tell you, the icing on the cake right now is for Mike Coulter is for Marvel to somehow get Mike Coulter to come back and reprise his role as Luke Cage. I mean, we loved him on season 1 of Marvel's Jessica Jones, and then in the Defenders, and then both seasons of his own show, Marvel's Luke Cage. He's currently on the cast of the Paramount Plus show Evil. I just hope that that Marvel can talk him into playing that character again, because that's great. But seeing Charlie Cox as Daredevil, woo! I can't wait for the Hawkeye series to premiere. Alright, now the second thing is that there's news that Ben Reilly, which is the Peter Parker Spider-Man's clone, is going to take up the mantle of Spider-Man once again. Now this comes after as a result of what's to come in the upcoming Sinister War miniseries coming to Marvel. And it's where Peter Parker Spider-Man goes up against not just 6, but 12 villains. And it's going to result in him... No, trust me, Peter Parker's not going to die. Instead, it's going to cause him to question whether he should take up the mantle of Spider-Man again. And I think he temporarily takes a leave of absence. And so that's when Ben Reilly takes place. Now, Ben Reilly, as of late, has been back in the Marvel Universe for the last few years after a miniseries called The Clone Conspiracy. And he's taken up the mantle of the Scarlet Spider. But at first I was a little upset about this, because I'm thinking, because at first, before I read the article, when I saw the cover of the article, I thought that Peter Parker was going to die, but then I found out that he was going to question whether he should be Spider-Man or not. I mean, he's been through so much since the past decades. I mean, whether it's losing loved ones, almost losing loved ones, losing or the deaths of people close to him. I mean, it hasn't been easy for Peter, but seeing Ben take up the mantle of Spider-Man, okay, it'll work for me, so long as Peter comes back eventually. Alright, now the second thing is that another guest is coming to GeekCon at the Shreveport Convention Center August 13th to the 15th. And that is former WWE wrestler and WWE Hall of Famer John Bradshaw Layfield, or as we all know him as JBL. Now as of late, he's been he's a ring not a ring announcer, but he's been he's on a broadcast team for Raw, and then he's also a financial advisor. And of course, when in his latter days of wrestling, he always came out to the ring in a limo. And of course, he had that famous finishing move called the clothesline from hell. A lot of folks remember him as that, but I also remember him when he was tag team partners with Ron Simmons, and they had that tag team called the Acolytes, and then later the APA. It's gonna be interesting, seeing. Well, not interesting, but it's going to be fun seeing him over at GeekCon with the lineup of guests they already have. James Murray, Alice Cooper, Lexi Ray, Eddie McClintock, Emily Swallow, Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South. They're all good. Those are just a few of some of the guests that are going to be there. And also, I'm going to be there also as a vendor. So y'all come out and support GeekCon. It's really going to be a lot of fun. This is the only actual con that's in North Louisiana. Granted, Louisiana Comic Con did come to North Louisiana not once but twice in the past few years. In 2015 in the Bossier Civic Center, and then 2017 on the Louisiana State Fairgrounds. But after 2017, they decided to have it in Lafayette, and that's when GeekCon got started. And I am very proud to be part of GeekCon this year, and hopefully I can be part of GeekCon every year. So y'all come on out and support us. Whether you live near or far, you will not regret. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Action Comics number 1032. The Amazing Spider-Man number 69. Cable number 8. Captain Marvel number 29. Detective Comics number 1038. Guardians of the Galaxy number 15. Heroes Return. Excited about this one. Infinite Frontier number 1. Justice League number 63. Robin number 3. Superman number 32. Sword number 6. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 118. Way of X number 3. Wolverine number 13. Wonder Woman number 774. And finally, X-Men Legends number 4. Alright, that's 17, which brings the total number of comics I've bought since December of 1997 to 10,685. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. True or false? Jack Kirby's real name was Jacob Kurtzburg. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Amanda Edelman from DeRidder, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this week's episode. On next week's episode, which is the continuation of the Summer of Superheroes, I'm going to wear a Captain America comic hero tee. Now, I know that the 4th of July is this upcoming Sunday, and then by the time that I do the show, the 4th of July will already have passed. But there are 2 reasons why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because of the upcoming miniseries that's coming called The United States of Captain America. Then I'm also doing it because this year marks the 80th anniversary of the character's debut. And of course, he was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. Of course, Jack Kirby's part of the question I just asked. But look forward to that. And then right after that, I'm on episode, okay, that's 362. Now, on episode 363, I'm going to show some love to the God of Thunder, Thor. I'm going to wear a Thor comic hero tee and celebrate him. One of my all-time favorite characters in comics. And, well, yeah. All right, and again, GeekCon is coming up in August. It's August the 13th through the 15th at the Shreveport Convention Center in downtown Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm going to be there all 3 days, and then there's going to be a great bevy of lists. And just like I said in the Comically Speaking segment, John Bradshaw Layfield, former WWE wrestler and WWE Hall of Famer, will be one of the guests there. So whether you live near or far, if you can make it, come on. I mean, y'all come. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 362. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and booyah!